So how long do you think this process is going to take?
It could take as long as 3.5 years or possibly as short as a year.
So they can't build the pipeline right now?
They certainly can't build it in Nebraska, and they shouldn't build it anywhere else.
Okay, so no matter how the president comes down on this issue, or no matter how many votes the Senate has or the House has, it can't be built?
It's completely irrelevant to what happens in Nebraska.
Okay, so, and the pipeline has to come through Nebraska the way it's set up right now?
Of course.
So this is the roadblock?
It is the roadblock, and it's been the roadblock.
Okay, so there's the regulatory, the judicial, and the appellate process, which is standing in the way of the pipeline right now.
That's all true statement.
Okay. So what are the chances of the pipeline being built during the Obama years?
I find that highly unlikely.
Which throws it right into 2016.
I think it'll be one of the key issues for that election. I don't see any decision getting made before then.
Do you think that TransCanada will continue to follow the process that far into the future?
Well, they have hundreds of millions invested so far, so I would say yes.
So the landowners who are involved in this legal process right now could flip. They could take a check from TransCanada and say, you know what, I'm going to go along with this process.
At any time, the landowners could accept the offers.
So from your perspective, representing them legally, how determined are they?
Oh, they're incredibly determined. We've got an excellent core group. Over 100 cases of eminent domain were filed this time around, only 20 on the first pipeline. So we have a 500% increase in the solidarity of landowners.
So there has been a real fever-pitched attitude here in the heartland against the pipeline.
People are opening their eyes to the real risks and just want to be treated fairly, want to be paid properly.
Give me a couple reasons why they don't want it.
Well, TransCanada wants to leave the pipeline in place, abandon it after they've made billions of dollars. They want to pay the landowners once in 2015 for a perpetual forever easement. They can sell it to anyone at any time. The landowners have liability that they have to potentially suffer. There's so many problems that it's just not fair, Ed.
So tell me about the liability. What do you mean by that? If there's an accident on their land?
That's right, because the landowners still have the liability for any negligence that may occur. And you know what negligence is, just an accident, something I didn't mean to do. So TransCanada can say, well, wasn't it you that drove your combine across the easement? Maybe you were part of the problem. Maybe it's really you. And so now you're fighting 100 lawyers at TransCanada over who did what.
So it would be the little guy against the big corporation that's got deep pockets that could drive the whole thing.
The landowner would lose everything they have.
So there's not only an environmental risk, there's a serious legal and personal risk to the landowners forever.
Forever. It's a colossal financial risk that is being forced upon them.
Okay. The president hasn't said no to this. He's given some indications that he's not for it. How frustrating is that to the landowners?
Well, we want a decision either way, but again, what the president does is irrelevant to what we're doing here in Nebraska. So he could say yes tomorrow and our challenges still go on.
What kind of conversations is TransCanada having with the landowners in Nebraska, trying to convince them? Where's this all going?
Well, they're still doing their talking points of, American jobs, North American energy independence, and things that we know to be untrue, lowering gas prices, which has not been true. They're talking to us, but they won't agree to remove the pipe, and they won't agree to reduce the liability.
When you hear politicians, elected officials in Washington talk about this pipeline as if all they have to do is to vote on it and then it's going to happen, what goes through your mind?
Well, it's just the big money donors getting their dividends for campaign contributions. That's all that is. It's all political theater and it means nothing.